Hi guys, Frank here from RC Racing TV and polepositionrc.com. Continuing the build of the DeAgostini model space Kyosho Hummer H1. This time we're doing something a bit different. We've got parts or steps 33 and 34 here. These are completely different to what we've been building so far. In 33, step 33, we're going to be building the frame for the body, and in 34, we'll be putting the actual body panels into place. So we'll get to that one later in this video, but for now, let's open bag number 33. And see what we've got here. Got quite a lot of parts. I was wondering how they would possibly flat pack all these bits together. So, right. So let's see how we can get these all laid out. Now they suggest, the instructions suggest that you use masking tape and a pen to mark these with the part numbers, which is a good idea because I can see how easy it would be to get a bit lost in all of these parts that look kind of the same. But we're going to try, or I'm going to try, to lay these out the way they are in the instructions picture, so that it's so we can figure out all these parts without actually labeling anything. We'll see how that goes. I feel confident though. This is going to take a lot of space, and every part has is bagged on its own. So again, I'm just laying them out just like the picture is in the instructions. Although, albeit on a slightly more cramped space. Here's the front windscreen. Okay, so there we are. Okay, so we've also got some hardware. And these screws are going to be very, very tiny screws. So you're going to need your smallest screwdriver. And we'll need some plastic glue. Now they suggest the quick-acting glue, which is pretty good and quick-acting. We don't need the clippers. I did take them out just in case, but we don't need them. So we're going to be test fitting all these parts before we actually attach them. I can see why, as we're building these, I can see why these parts are going to be helpful to have the quick glue, but we can get just as good results if slightly slower with the normal styrene plastic glue. Okay, so we've got our plastic glue here, just the normal glue. The instructions do suggest using the fast acting glue, but this will work just as good. As long as you have good quality styrene glue, you'll be fine. So once that's attached and starting to dry, set that down and get the next one glued up. Okay, so this is the frame of the body itself. So we'll be attaching everything. Now, you can use a clothing pin or clothes peg to hold these together, or even just tape it with masking tape, but it seems to be holding just fine. And now we've got, these are parts 1 and 2. We're going to be attaching these here. No, this one. Be attaching them here. Okay. Now the instructions say to wrap these bits with masking tape and then use the fast acting glue, the hot glue, to go between the seams. If you don't have that handy, it's okay. You can just use normal glue and to get a nice solid connection. Again, just match up the holes. So there's the beginning of the roof. You can see this is the front end here, this is the back end. And we'll do the same for this piece. this one's doing. Seems to be going along good. So we've got the left and the right. And now we've got the front end. Oh no, is this the back? Right, okay. My mistake, I thought this was the back end. Okay, so this will attach there. Let's see where those are going to go. So I'm going to put the glue on these pieces here. I must say it's very nicely designed. Everything goes exactly where it needs to go. And I'm a big fan of the fast-acting, the hot glue, but I don't see how we'll save that much time, like a huge amount of time anyway, using all these, using the hot glue. This part's tricky only because there's one of the pieces goes on the inside of this rear window and the other piece goes on the outside. So you can see we're starting to get the shape of a Hummer. It's actually not even fitting in the frame. It's amazing how huge this is. Okay, now we've got a cross piece. Oh. And this is going to go across. Does it go across there? Oh no, it goes across here. So we actually turn this upside down. So this starts to become the front brace. So what we're doing is we're making sure that we're dry fitting everything to make sure. Just like we did in the first couple steps. There we go. Actually works better assembling this upside down. There's bound to be some loose pieces coming off, but if you're careful, you don't really need the masking tape. If you're just careful and patient. Although I will use, if I can find it, I will use some tape here because this seems to be just a loose, sort of a vulnerable piece. sure that stays there, and I may as well do it for the other corner piece. Okay, and now while this is upside down, just make sure these pieces are drying in place. While this is upside down, there's the next piece, which is this one. No, it is the other one. There's this one. Goes here. It's quite a lot of glue connection there. And this might actually be easier going this way. Trick here is to note that these little tabs are meant to face towards the front of the truck. So I'll just go ahead and just be extra secure using this tape. I think the note is to make sure that these holes line up, as you can see them here. Okay, because we're going to be screwing everything together as well. Now we get the bonnet, which we've attached previously, or we've assembled previously, I should say. I'm going to put the whole assembly upside down. So we've got two of these very small screws, and then so we're finally getting back to, I think this is step 1. And there we are. And we've got these sort of, there's circular tabs that will be fitting in there. So we can go ahead and put some glue here on the inside. And on this piece here. because we're then going to have this piece. Oop, it's backwards. This piece will go there. And the two more of the black screws will go there. And the two silver screws are going to go into these holes here. I'm not sure why the machine thread, I don't know why they're different types of screws though. Now I'm leaving that tape in place because you're not ever going to see it. Also, oops, you glue that piece back. Forgot about those underside pieces. Yeah, so I may end up taking the radiator piece off anyway and painting it separate, but at this point, don't know. So that's step 33 done. It actually won't fit all in the frame. That is huge. Now there's still this piece and these other pieces left to do for the next step, which is step 34. So I'm just going to reposition the camera and we'll get right into adding all the body panels. Okay, I can't zoom out enough just in the space that I have, but here's the frame of the body and step 34 body panel pieces. So we'll cut this bag open. And again, everything has its own bag. We've got I believe the roof panel is a separate piece on its own. So that will be a future step. So no biggie. Oh, these are taped together. So we'll just cut that. Carefully peel off the tape. Try to remove as much of the stickum or glue. I will be washing this thoroughly before it gets painted, so no worries about that. Warm water and soap on a toothbrush does wonders. All right. Okay, so we've got, oh, no, one more piece, a couple more pieces. Okay, so first thing is the instructions have you do is remove the bonnet that we just attached. Oops. And pick up the screwdriver. Now, unfortunately, I did glue the bonnet in place, so we'll see how ill-advised that was. I'm going to guess that it's probably not such a horrible thing. Just loosen these two. Okay, so we've got the masking tape and the bonnet or hood off of the frame, and now we're just going to be adding steps, it looks like. Oh, I see here. It's like more like sills to the bottom. These pieces. Okay, went ahead and got some clothespins and these little mini hobby clamps because it looks like they're going to be very handy to use. I'm just going to put the glue in place here on these bits and along this bottom edge. And then along this edge here on the ends. That way so I'll let those sit for a minute while I do the other door panel. Seem to have to really hold these pieces in place on the ends, just on the ends. Okay. We'll let these dry fully. And we're going to be attaching these looks like we're going to be attaching these the whole side at a time. So these have pins that will locate everything. So let's see, we've got so there's the whole side panel, right side panel. And we're going to do the same with the other side. These little hobby clamps are much stronger than just normal clothespins. And it's important to use at least these two in these locations because of the angle. If you only use the one, the other side will kind of pop up and lift up a bit. So we'll give these a couple minutes to dry while we check out the rest of the instructions, which are to use these little screws. Okay, so leave that one to finish drying. This is the first one that we started assembling. Gonna have to do some, well, I'm going to be sanding anyway, so that's not a biggie. Get rid of these fingerprints. Okay. So, now what we're looking for are these little protrusions or bosses, and those are going to fit into these little holes all along. There's 4 that where they're going to fit. So we're just trying to locate those. There we are. So we need 4 screws for this side. It's amazing to be working on an RC car that is this big, putting the body together with framework, basically. It's huge. Now, if you're going to have this fully detailed out and painted, it's worth having a think about how you're going to paint everything. Of course, the real Hummer H1s were generally one color, unless you had, it was custom made or something like that. So the easiest thing to do is just paint it all in one color, which is easily done. But if you are going to paint it in a bunch of different colors, obviously camouflage, pretty easy to do. You may not even have to mask anything. But if you're going to paint, do something crazy like paint this yellow and this one green and this sill red or something like that, as you're assembling this, just keep in mind that you may have to partially disassemble some pieces or do a lot of masking with the masking tape. So I'm going to put the left side on. And again, I'm going to locate those bosses and get out 4 more screws. Could almost use the tweezers here. The screws are so tiny. It's really starting to take on some heft now, this all the body pieces. Trying to get the boss into the hole. Oh, there we are. That is one big body. Oh wow. Alright, so what's the next step here? So they're saying the instructions have you gluing absolutely everything, all of these pieces to the body, which I will do. I'm going to do that with my fast acting, the hot glue. Okay, so with with that in mind, I'm going to get the rear body panel on. This one's going to need to be glued in place as well, I can see. And there's these 4 screw holes where the last 4 of the very small self-tapping screws are going to go in. so there's the back on. And again, those are going to be, I'm going to glue all that together properly. And that is step 34. So before we do the next step, I'm going to glue all this in place properly. Yeah, there we go. Right. Now I'm doing that because if you look, these side panels in the back kind of curve in just slightly. So I'm going to make sure that going to make sure that the body panels line up at least as well as they can. Right, okay, so that's step 33 and 34. You can see we're getting pretty close to having a body. Once we get that attached back on, the next step is adding the roof, and I believe the windscreen or windshield, and yeah, so should be pretty good. Can't wait for that one. So that's steps 33 and 34 of the DeAgostini Model Space Kyosho Hummer H1 from RC Racing TV and me, Frank, from polepositionrc.com. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next video.